himself was an accomplished cricketer. Even after he moved to the coaching, that coaching we are talking about was for 6 decades, 60 years of coaching. This is something that is very rare. No, he's from those Achrekar eras, every generation of Indian cricket. Even before, I mean, we'll come to that. So he's a very accomplished coach, and then he was with the Sports Authority of Andhra Pradesh to start with. Later on, he moved to the Sports Authority of India, and then he was sent on Maldives on deputation. One of the chapters I have mentioned. So he was on an assignment to the BCCI, and he also served as a South Zone coach. 77, yes, in the years running up to the India's first World Cup win.
Namaste everyone. Today we have gathered here to talk with Commander Hemant Kumar, who have penned down a book recently. In his own words, this book is dedicated to all the coaches who continue to enlighten their student yet remain unknown. If we look at the history of Indian cricket, it is impossible to overlook Beg Sir, a masterful cricket coach. He has been a silent force, a guiding light, and an unsung hero whose legacy hasn't been told enough and hasn't been talked about enough. Commander Hemant has done this wonderful work to he has taken this responsibility on himself to tell us about this legacy of Beg Sir, so that everyone can know about this gem of a person who was gifted to Indian cricket and India as a country. Commander Hemant Kumar is a commander in Indian Navy. He is the alumni of the prestigious Naval War College and a graduate from Cochin University, IIT Delhi and IIT Madras. He was Beg Sir's student in his school days and has been personally associated with many people who have been learning and working with Beg Sir. Thus, he took this responsibility upon himself to write about this gem of person, Mr. M.R. Beg, and the book's title is The Unsung Coach of Indian Cricket. Welcome, sir. Welcome to today's session. To start with the first question, I want to first of all ask you, who is Prakash ji, who has helped you a lot? He is your childhood friend, as we understand from the book, and he has helped you a lot in writing this book. So I just want to understand first and know first, and the audience should know that who is he and how do you know him very well, and he helped you so much. Why he helped you so much?
Namaste Akshay ji. I'm Commander Hemant. Thank you for inviting me, and I'd like to thank the Saryu Foundation also for inviting me for an interview to have a discussion on one of the very important, on a book on one of the very important persons that Indian cricketing fraternity and India has ever seen. To answer your question, this book starts with an introduction about a person called Prakash. The book, he's one of the central characters of this entire book. Prakash, incidentally, is my childhood friend. We have grown up together. But more importantly, Prakash has been a student of M.R. Beg Sir since late 2000s. The important thing is not about being Beg Sir's student. It is after he has attended his regular coaching sessions, and then he has represented the Hyderabad state at certain level. But even after that, even after Beg Saab's retirement, Prakash has been like his son, taking care of Beg Saab in his old age. He has been literally his shadow. He used to take Beg Saab, right? His routine used to start at 5:30 in the morning. Every day he used to come to his house dot at 5:30, and Beg Saab used to come at 5:45. He used to take in his scooter. Prakash has a scooter. He used to take him to the cricket coaching center. Because of his old age, he could not drive himself. And then he used to spend almost the half a day with Beg Saab when he coached the students at the coaching center, and then he used to come back and drop him. That was his routine for many years. So, and then whatever family requirements are there, be it health wise and any other issues, Prakash used to be literally like his student. So that is a brief introduction of Prakash, and we'll talk about him as we go ahead.
Even the prologue itself, you give an anecdote where Beg Saab scolds him for being late in the morning to pick him up. Like he was 15 minutes late. And in your words, Beg Saab says, being late was not supposed to be a core value of a man created for greatness.
Yeah, so this is one thing which many cricketers and even Prakash himself say it very fondly, because Beg Saab was a very strong person with a very strong, is a strong disciplinarian. Probably being from the Indian Navy, he's an Indian Navy veteran. So Beg Saab served in the Indian Navy from 1957 to 1968. In fact, Indian Navy has actually groomed him and coached him to become one of the best cricketers of those times. He served in the Indian Navy. During his service in the Indian Navy, Beg Saab actually made it to the Indian Navy cricket team. Thereafter, from there, he went to the services cricket team. He was a spinner, and from then on, he became a coach. Throughout his journey, it is the Indian Navy who has actually given him best of the facilities. That time it was in the Western Naval Command in the Mumbai, where he was given the best of the facilities for the cricket coaching, which actually transformed into a wonderful cricketer. And then 1963, the Navy has recognized the coaching genius in him. Not only a cricketer, but they also molded him into a coach. So he was sent to the National Institute of Sports in Patiala, so where he was actually transformed into a wonderful coach.
You mentioned in the book as well that he was a
Yeah.
cricketer and a coach both at the same.
Now you see where the discipline angle comes, that he was very, it's not in a negative sense that, for a cricketer, or for that matter any profession, if you have to excel at an international level, one aspect is the game, but the more important aspect is the character which you develop as a individual, as a player, whose foundation is laid by the strong discipline that you follow throughout your. It's not only the physical discipline, it is the mental discipline that you follow, and Beg Saab strongly believed in it. One of the things that Beg Saab used to tell us was that after certain level you learn the skill of any game, including cricket, but what makes you to stay at the top level and at a peak performance is the discipline that you have, is the mental discipline. So that is why, when Prakash, as you mentioned, I have written in the book that he got late by 5 minutes, he was very, very strong on it. So there, for him, it's not about, he, as I quoted, that for a person who is bound to go places, you need to be a disciplinarian.
And then it never happened again.
Yeah, it never has happened again. And
he used to reach 15 minutes earlier.
yes,
after.
and Prakash and all of us, all of his students, all of us are very glad that he has instilled that kind of discipline in us right at our formative years. There are several of his students. When I was taking the interviews during the course of writing this book, उन्होंने ये भी बोला है कि ठीक है, हमने क्रिकेट, शायद बड़ा क्रिकेट नहीं खेला हमने, बट हम अपने ज़िंदगी में कुछ ना कुछ हमने हासिल किया. They are actually very well said. There are some very big businessmen. There are people who went on to become IAS officers who have cleared UPSC, and they are very at senior positions now.
Even the doctor who was taking care
Yes,
of him in 2020, that the incident that I was coming to next in
Yes.
the book, he was his student, right? Even I was wondering how a doctor.
Correct. The former president of the Apollo hospitals was a student.
Right.
There are a lot of politicians who went on to become politicians. So Beg Saab students were throughout, are across the spectrum of all businesses and all kinds of fields you can think of. But then all of them, during my interview, they have told, and including me, we all believe that it is because of the discipline that he has instilled in us. Although through a medium of cricket coaching, it has really helped us in life.
And that was also one of a very unique feature of
Yes.
Beg sir, that he used to coach even kids and even the most senior player both on the same day.
Yeah, this is a very
He never stopped teaching small kids.
Yes, this is a very important point you brought out. Look, even let me come back, go to the discipline and then come back to it, this aspect. Suppose I remember many times in our cricket coaching camps, we emulate cricketers. So we used to come with all kinds of wristbands, headbands, you put that summer cream and all the hairstyle and goggles and all. At least the way you carry kit and all. So we used to enter, whenever we used to enter the ground like that, he used to take us off. कि पहले तुम गेम तो सीख लो, वो सब बाद में आएगा. So he never allowed people to enter ground without tucking in your shirt. it's the way, see, these are very important aspects. Sunil Gavaskar used to point out this in one of the commentaries I used to see, that you need to tuck in the shirt when you're getting into the ground. It is not to literally, what does that mean is that the ground is cricket ground, or for that matter any field in any sport is considered as a temple. Unless you consider your place of work as a temple, you cannot perform. It is, so that is the thing that he's trying to drive down in all of our heads. It's not about looking fashionable, it's about respecting the game, respecting the pitch, respecting the ground. Sachin Tendulkar, if you remember,
He used
when he
to
retired,
touch.
every time he used to touch the ground.
It has to be sacred for.
It is a sacred place. That is how. And I'm sure Achrekar sir, when he coached Sachin Tendulkar, it is exactly the same thing he would have installed in such great cricketers, So that is what Beg sir used to instill in us. So your question.
He used to teach even kids
Yeah.
and even the
Now-
current international players both at the same day.
Correct. Now that was a very so the coaching centers and he was firstly remember Beg sir was started coaching before he even started coaching. He served quite a he himself played cricket at the services played Ranji cricket through the services cricket team. That time Colonel Hemu Adhikari was the captain of the cricket team.
Indian cricket.
And those who have known a bit of cricket history, services team was one of the best performing teams of those times. In fact, if I remember correctly, around between 1950 to 68, about 6 times the services cricket team actually entered into the semi-finals of the Ranji matches, and 3 times I think they have made it to the finals also. So it was a very tough team to crack in. It was one of the elite teams. Even
You
now,
quoted it in the book as well.
yes,
The golden era.
it was a golden era for the services cricket team. Beg Saab to enter at that point into the services cricket team itself is a big achievement in itself, and to perform there itself is something that we need to take note of. Then after he moved on, he played briefly for the Hyderabad Ranji team. He represented North Zone in the Dilip Trophy. The services forms a part of the North Zone. So he himself was an accomplished cricketer. Even after he moved to the coaching, that coaching we are talking about was for 6 decades. It's 60 years of coaching. This is something that is very rare. He's from those Achrekar era's coach.
He has literally coached every generation of India
Every
cricket
generation
so
of
far.
Indian cricket. Even before, I mean, we'll come to that. So he's a very accomplished coach. And then he was with the Sports Authority of Andhra Pradesh to start with. Later on, he moved to the Sports Authority of India. And then he was sent on Maldives on deputation. One of the chapters I have mentioned. So he was on an assignment to the BCCI, and he also served as a South Zone coach
Right.
for the BCCI.
I think 1977.
77, yes.
Till
In the
the
years
World
running up to the
World
India's
Cup.
first World Cup win. During that time, Colonel Hemu Adhikari, if I'm not wrong, was the West Zone cricket coach as well as the chief,
head coach.
as well as the head coach. And Sardar Gurcharan Singh used to take care of the East Zone. And I think Dharmalingam Saab was taking care of the South Zone. This is what Beg sir could recollect, even all these people now. So they were contemporaries actually. So he was one of the elite coaches. Now for an elite coach of that stature, ideally he should have coached the Indian cricket team. That was a natural progression. But in his coaching centers, he used to have a very stark contrast of the people who used to go. On one side, he used to coach the young budding cricketers, first class or second class kids who have just picked up the bat. That is the first time they are getting introduced to the cricket. And on the other extreme of the spectrum, you have established cricketers who have already, some of the cricketers either they were playing already Ranji or they already played for India. To handle both, and you cannot handle both obviously the same way. And you need to be a genius to do that. So I've written extensively on that. The thing is, this is what many cricketers have told, and I myself have observed. Beg Saab used to tell you only what is required.
Not more,
Not more, not less, because there is only a limited amount of information that you can grasp. For him, making a cricketer is a process. You need to be groomed into that. Like, you know, Beg Sahab used to fondly tell that like you have curriculum in education, no, you LKG, UKG, first class, second class, only after you pass the previous class you can go and you can graduate into the next level. Game of cricket is also the same way. A young kid who is coming with a cricket bat needs to be taught basics. Needs to be taught basics in a way he understands. Every kid is different. He used to take that kind of effort. Each kid he used to take individual effort, he used to analyze. And there is one very important aspect to this that, and many cricketers also have told me this, very unique thing about Beg Sahab, that suppose, see, a kid is naturally talented in a particular shot. It could be cricket or same is applicable to other games also. You something some थोड़े चीज़ आप naturally कर सकते हो, बहुत अच्छे खेल सकते हो, front foot हो या back foot हो. Some things come naturally to you for what Sehwag. For whatever reason, that's how you are born, built. There are some things you are not good at. The way you Beg sir used to approach this problem is he would not focus initially on your weaknesses. पहले वो अपने strengths के ऊपर काम करेंगे. He will make you confident. He used to make he used to first observe. Firstly, you need to be a genius to find out that what are you good at, and then he used to groom you on that. The moment you work on your positives, the kid automatically develops such level of confidence. अपने आप उसमें confidence आया तो he starts feeling cricket in him. And he used to, that doesn't mean that he will not focus on your weaknesses, but then that also he used to do very subtly. He will never point out that you are weak at this, because Beg Sahab used to always tell that these things play on your mind. You can, the moment once it enters, it's very difficult to take it out. He used to make you do some small drills, small kinds of exercises, small sessions. People who are looking at it from the outside will not understand what is happening. Why is he? There were days when established cricketers as well as kids, he used to make them play with a tennis ball, or a young boy used to bowl to a cricketer. Now, he had a peculiar way of working on your weaknesses, and then the moment he knew that, he will know, he is looking at you, a particular shot when you play, he knows that you're through that,
reach that level of confidence.
and then he will not point it out कि तुम्हारे पे ये गलती था और मैंने correct किया, अब ठीक हो गया. He will not do that. He'll say, अच्छा ठीक है, हो गया.
Naturally things will happen.
Yeah, he doesn't point out that, but that's a way of subtly, there's a subtle way of correcting mistakes, and then you're through.
You have mentioned somewhere as well. I'm not able to recall exactly, but the way he used to coach people, it was also about making people mentally very strong.
Yes. Incidentally, in one of the interviews I've written, VVS Lakshmanji, he has pointed out this, that it's like, going to Beg Sahab was like, he was a super specialist.
Specialist doctor.
In medical field, we have regular doctor, then thereafter they do their MD or MS, and then they do their super specialty. He was like that in cricket. So coming back to that, as I explained to you, the way he used to train the kids, similarly on training the cricketers also, see, once you played for India or at a certain level, you don't need to know the basics. You know the basics well, that's why you are there. What you want is, if you don't perform or if you are not in form, you need a coach, a reliable coach who can correct your mistakes. There may be sometimes there is no mistake actually. It's not that they are not doing any, it's not that there is any mistake with the technique, it's probably the way they are approaching the game as a whole. For that you need to have a very evolved coach. See, some cricketer, for example, is not performing, he is not able to score runs. If they have approached Beg Sahab, the way he approaches is first, okay, theek hai, pad up karo, he'll make them play after some time in the nets. There are 100 things he can change in that cricketer. You can always tell your grip is not proper. You can always tell that your stance is not okay. Or your, the way you're moving the feet, the way the speed at which you're bringing down the bat. There are 100 things that can go wrong. But there were many instances where Beg Sahab, just he used to talk it out to people. It's very subtle instructions. Without even they themselves knowing the performance already has improved. So a bit small drill here, just I have told you that, with the tennis ball he used to make them play. That kind of very subtle adjustments he used to do, and he used to pass on that kinds of instructions without they themselves noticing it. Vivek Lakshan himself was a witness to that. And then your performance improved remarkably. So you need a thorough understanding. This might look very simple, but then handling a test cricketer and cricketers themselves with the kind of competition they have, they are putting their entire life in your hands. So you need to be of that caliber to be able to handle a cricketer's life. You can end up ruining their career, right? So imagine the stark contrast that you are handling a young kid who was first time starting his game, and then you are handling a cricketer. So that is the level of genius MR Baig Saab was.
He always used to motivate people to play their natural game. VVS Lakshman also highlights that.
Correct.
Right. So this book starts in 2020. Your journey, as I could understand from by reading it, starts at 2020 when Baig Saab was not doing very well.
Yes.
His health was not doing well. So tell us about that incident which inspired you to write this book when
Yes.
you went to Hyderabad on the call of Prakash ji,
Yes.
your friend. So tell us about that and
Yeah.
how you got motivated to this writing this book.
See, if I remember correctly, it was on 11th of January 2020, just turn of the new year. I got a call from my friend Prakash that Baig Saab has been released from the hospital, has been discharged from the hospital. Now, Baig Saab has been, by the time I was writing this book, he was already 83 years old. This was in April somewhere, I started in 23. So when he got admitted, he was about 81 years old. So Baig Saab has been having, because of the old age issues, he has been having a lot of health problems. So that day, he's developed some ulcers in his mouth, and he was not keeping well. Actually, he was not doing well. Since Prakash was with him throughout, he was taking care of him. He immediately initially Baig Saab was shown to a doctor close by, but then they could not diagnose him because they realized that the problem was much serious. So Baig Saab and so Prakash and his family and Baig Saab's family, all of them went to the Apollo Hospital in Jubilee Hills in Hyderabad. So there he was admitted. It was on 30th of December, just one day before the New Year's Eve. So he was admitted in the Apollo Hospital in a very critical condition actually. So now Prakash was all alone. Remember, because it's being obviously there will be medical expenses associated with it. So Baig Saab was one of the noble, very rare coaches you see, where he money hardly motivated
Never
him.
bothered about taking money.
He was people, the kind of genius Baig Saab was. I don't think, anyone who was taking the services was ready to pay even lakhs of rupees for just getting few minutes of his time. But he never took any money. In fact, whatever little money he used to get from the coaching, he used to spend on his own students. I remember when I used to play with him, there were several days where, see, the coaching sessions, cricket coaching starts early in the morning, about 5:36. So the kids generally who come there do not have breakfast. They have some fruits or some milk or something. Baig sir knows that because this coaching used to happen till 9:30, 10 o'clock. By then the sun is out and you're already drained. He used to take all the kids to the nearby hotel. He used to feed them. He used to give them milk, whatever food they want. That there is this in Hyderabad. There is this Kamath Hotel opposite to the Birla Mandir. Even now the Kamath hotels, the owner and the kids who are running the hotel, they fondly remember this, that Baig Saab आते थे अपने सारे बच्चों को लेके, and even when we go as Baig Saab kids, they give us discount also. So he was a very he had a very lot of people had a lot of respect for Baig Saab. Not only that, even there is one sports shop called Sachdev Sports in Hyderabad, no, where you have all the cricketing apparatus where you go and buy the cricket kits. And they used to, even now they give discount to kids when your Baig Saab is no more. But then that is the kind of, because all of them someday they have been coached by Baig Saab. So he had a very good name, and he used to, so he was never interested in money. And I have even whatever money he used to take was the salary which was paid. So as a result of this, it was very difficult for himself to or his family to bear the entire financial expenses. So, but that was not the time to think of all this because he needed urgent medical attention. Prakash himself is like us. He was also a mid-level. He's an employee in one of the corporate firms. So he was also not in a state to pay the bills that would come up. But then sir was admitted. He took the challenge because thing is that because of his old age, he needed the urgent. There was no time for doing all these calculations. So he immediately got admitted to the Apollo Hospital, and Apollo Hospitals is one of the best hospitals in the Hyderabad. But then obviously the thought would come at some point of time कि bill कैसे pay करें. Then Beg Saab student was the former chairman of the selectors, the chief selector of BCCI was MSK Prasad. MSK Prasad sir ko he called immediately. Now Prakash, obviously you are calling a chief selector, but then MSK sir, the way he is, he picked up his call and he told, हाँ प्रकाश क्या हुआ? Because then he knew him because he used to take care of the. Prakash told कि साहब ऐसे बेग साहब के साथ ऐसे हो गया, I don't know what to do, how do I go about this? He told, okay, just let me look into it. He immediately flew down. By then, sorry, he was not the former, he was the chief selector then.
Right, he was.
In 2020, he was very much the chief selector. He must have had some of the difficult, he must have been busy with his own career, with his own assignment. But then he took time off to come and see Beg Saab in Hyderabad. And then he initially approached PVS Lakshman. Ki Lakshman, what do you, because that's what, this was told to me by both Lakshman as well as MSK sir.
So he got in charge of the entire financial situation as soon as he...
He told Lakshman sir.
Handling the...
And Lakshman sir though initially told that, he was shocked actually with Beg Saab getting admitted. He was shattered. He told, I will bear the entire expenses. Let us pay off this. He doesn't have to go through this when we are there. But then both of them decided, Lakshman and MSK sir actually suggested to Lakshman that, no, let us, while you can do that, because this is one opportunity where, several of his hundreds of students, all of us who have gained from him, this will be one opportunity for us to do something for him. So let us all group together and then pool in money and let's do it. So they have agreed, both of them have agreed. And then MSK sir has created a WhatsApp group of all the cricketers who have trained under Beg Saab. Then he put a very emotional message. That message is a part of the book. So he brings out that, Beg Saab is like a monument, is a monumental figure, is a historical figure. And he has given several of our, whatever lives we are living, we owe it to them. So this is the time we need to take care of him. So there were an outpouring of emotion from all the cricketers and all the students actually. And we never realized that Beg Saab trained so many students. It is first time we realized that, and people from abroad, so many countries they have started giving financial assistance to sir. All the money was pulled in and deposited to Beg Saab's wife's account, madam's account.
You mentioned it in the book somewhere as well.
Yes.
Beg Saab belonged to all of us.
Yes,
and
that is in MSK sir's.
Yes.
So MSK sir told in the WhatsApp message, he says, that he belongs to all of us. He's a common legacy. What is that one thing that is common between me, MSK sir, Lakshman sir, and all of us who are there in his students? It is Beg Saab's legacy. We are all his students.
So like you said, the Apollo Hospital that day was flooded with all these star players.
Yes.
Coming and visiting him
and
praying for him as well.
Yes. So the Apollo Hospital was flooded with so many people, like even not only cricketers, like Pullela Gopichand sir, who's currently the badminton legend of India. He was there. He was
that picture in this book.
Yes.
As well.
Chamundeshwari Nath sir was there, who is the head of the Badminton Association. Several other people, Robin Uthappa sir was there. In fact, Robin Uthappa Prakash told me this story. I was not physically there that night. He told me that he's come for attending an IPL match that day. So, and just before the match started, Prakash called him, tell that, this is what it is. Immediately after the match, he rushed back to I don't know if he has attended even the presentation ceremony. He took an auto. Robin Uthappa ji took an auto and he has come to see his teacher. That tells something about, these cricketers.
They had.
You cannot play at the highest level. It's not. It is there. A connection is there as a coach, But it is that value system that Beg Sahab has installed on all these cricketers, right? It talks about a lot of, and Robin Uthappa sir came in the auto and then he was taken, so he was there by his bedside that time and he recovered. The thing is that here I need to bring out that Dr. Hari Prasad, who was also Beg Sahab student.
And we have Miss Hari Mohanji as well.
Yes, welcome to Hari Mohan sir is another important character in all this.
These were the three God sent angels
Yes.
in Prakash Ji's world.
MSK Prasad got everyone together. The another important person in this was Hari Mohan. Hari Mohan sir is the current selector, chief selector of Hyderabad Ranji team. It's the senior. He's the chairman of the senior selection committee. So he was the one who, like Prakash, he has been through Beg Sahab, who has been associated with Beg Sahab for the last 30 years. In fact, Hari Mohan sir was a part of the Hyderabad Ranji team, which actually went on to win the Ranji trophy that year. Whenever that was in 80s, I think. So sir was a fast bowler actually. So he was also trained by Beg Sahab. So he is, in fact, the lot of information about Beg Sahab was I've picked up from Hari Mohan sir's blogs. So he is the one, in fact, even before me, Hari Mohan sir is the one who has actually documented the legacy of Beg Sahab at one place in his blog. He even writes the.
So they are video vlogs or a
No,
written blog?
it's a written blog. So that actually helped us a lot, because the problem which we had was, by the time I started writing this book, Beg Sahab was, obviously the health was deteriorating, so he could not speak for long hours sitting. So while still I could talk to him, but Hari Mohan sir's blog really helped us, put everything together. So and then he was so the lot of financial assistance poured in, and Dr. Hari Prasad actually waived off the 90% of the fee that was to be paid as medical expenses.
90%? Okay. I think you have not mentioned this
Yeah.
figure in the book. But
Yeah, it's almost of that order, almost the entire fee. So the entire money was deposited to the Beg Sahab's account for their family's usage. So the entire bill was partly was paid, but then the most of the bill was waived off by the Apollo hospitals, and thanks to Dr. Hari Prasad. So all these cricketers together, Lakshman also was there, Azharuddin Sahab also came to see when Beg Sahab was admitted. So that's how the whole thing spanned out. So thankfully that time he came out well, he was saved.
all his students came together to save him, and that's indeed inspiring. Now coming to the next part in the book, where you talk about the early years of Beg Sahab when he was kid. He was born in 1940s in Hyderabad, pre-independence era, and he sees significant I would call incidents happening in his lifetime which affected him mentally, which afterwards led him to join Indian Navy as well. Two incidents were, first one was his father, who was a commander in Hyderabad army, who joined with Indian army and helped in freeing the Hyderabad from the then Nizam who were ruling the Hyderabad. And then the second incident was the naval mutiny in 1946. Not naval mutiny, naval revolt uprising, which happened in 1946, which is also known as the last war of independence by India. So these two incidents played a very important role. We'll do a quick history shift, and we'll understand how much these incidents played a role in shaping the future and the destiny of Beg Sahab.
It's very this part of his childhood forms it's a very important aspect of Beg Sir's personality, if I may put it that way. Because if you remember, let us rewind back the time, we are talking about 1940s. Beg Sahab was born on 21st January 1940. That, if all of us know that Hyderabad was a princely state that time, and it was headed by Nizam. Just immediately after the independence, Hyderabad, we know that Indian Army had to conduct Operation Polo to liberate Hyderabad and to make it a part of the Union of India. Beg Sahab's father was Colonel Beg, who was a part of Hyderabad State Forces. It was not as a part of the Indian Army. He was a part of the Hyderabad State Forces because Nizam himself had one small army with him, who had officers both from the British Indian Army as well as the other officers whom they recruited. So he was a part of that.
Nizam army.
It was called Hyderabad State Forces. So he was a colonel there. So he was a Fauji kid right from the beginning. So he was always in the know-how of the armed forces, how do they operate. So he was very much part of it. But the important aspect was that there is another connection to this. His father-in-law's brother was Major General L. Adrous, who was the commander-in-chief of the Hyderabad State Forces. Well, and he is the person who has actually surrendered to the Lieutenant General J.N. Chaudhary, who later went on to become General J.N. Chaudhary, who was the chief of the army staff. It is under General L. Adrous where the Hyderabad State Forces was surrendered to the Union of India. So he has that historical connection. I just pointed out that in the book. So he has seen the Indian Army tanks, because I think by then he would have been 6 to 7 years old. So the tanks would have been rolling. Although when I was interviewing, his memory almost was faded away and he could hardly recollect. But then these were some of the things he told. कि वो आर्मी ऑपरेशन जब हुआ था, हैदराबाद लिबरेट हुआ था, मेरे फादर उसमें थे इन्वॉल्व. So he used to really fondly recollect those. Another thing which I was also shocked that he was talking about was the naval uprising of 1940. Yes, so it's a very, very important, it's a watershed moment in India's freedom struggle, that the INA officers' trials were after the attack after the Indian National Army came into the fought against British and they came into India led by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. It is in the aftermath of that, the INA officers' trials were held by the British in the Red Fort, in the Lal Killa. That time it has become a big fire in India that time. These Red Fort trials, it was famously known, it was infamous for these trials. So this has created a furor among the armed forces. Because remember, most of the officers as well as the other ranks in within the armed forces were Indians, and several of them were veterans who have already participated or were part of the British armed forces in the two world wars. So they were all Indians. They were very much they are all Indians, and the Red Fort trials actually infuriated all of them. They understood what was happening actually. The English were controlling India through its armed forces. So it is the British naval, the Royal Indian Naval sailors that time in Bombay Dockyard, even now there is a memorial there, where they have revolted against the British, against their atrocities that was committed. And that spread like a wildfire. That was a trigger point to the Indian Army as well as the Indian Air Force. So there is a recorded testimony that is the point of, that is the moment where the British actually decided that it is the time to leave India, because because your own armed forces have revolted again, how do you control the country? They were not democratically elected government, right? So the only way they could control was through its armed forces, when your armed forces are not with you. So that is when these events actually have created, and because since he is from a Fauji family, he had very senior officers as a part of his family, these discussions happen around him. Meixar was fondly recollected, and he has told me all this. So that is how he is actually motivated. He got motivated to join the Indian Navy, which he did it in 1957.
1957.
Yes.
So then he joined Navy. Tell us about the invaluable skills that he must have got from the Indian Navy as a sailor, who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to keep our defense in a combat ready situation, defense forces. So tell us about that time, how the values that he got from Indian Navy helped him later on as a coach and as a player as well.
Yeah. So Beg Sahab actually joined Indian Navy in 1957. So his trade was, he was in the engine room. So to give a to explain to the audience, we previously we used to have these steam propelled ships. There were some which are even now there, but these steam propelled ships, if you go into those compartments where the steam propulsion plant is there, the temperature used to be as high as 80 degrees, 70 to 80
Is it
degrees.
like the Titanic?
Yeah, Titanic
era
also is a
ship,
steam.
right? Where they will keep putting coal and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Is that steam propelled ship, or it is something different?
Steam is generated. So because of the steam, the temperature of the steam is very high as compared to the water. Why do you have steam burns? Because the temperature, the latent heat of the steam is much higher than the water. So imagine if you're working in that temperatures, they are very, very challenging temperatures. Even the hull structure around that, if you touch anything, it used to be very, it's not a very convenient place to, it's not like a regular
You
office
have given
place.
a range of 50 to 80 degrees Celsius,
Yes,
which is in
which is
itself
very high.
unimaginable.
Just imagine
right?
the summer, it's just 45
It
degrees,
is
40
45
degrees.
degrees today, and we are
And you have to
struggling.
continuously be there. There is a shift system, there's a watch system, you know. So, and you have to be continuously there and you have to be alert. That naval training in the Naval Academy, what it does is it transforms you from a boy to a warrior. There is there is immense physical training, it's a grueling physical training, and it also makes you mentally strong. So you see, Beg Saab has faced lot of challenges throughout his life, getting selected for the naval team, first services team, later being a cricketer himself, and then as a coach. Throughout, if you actually followed his life closely, his family also says he was a very, very strong person, mentally and emotionally. You know, where does this come from? It's come from that initial training during his very formative years in the Indian Navy. So he used to work in those warships which had steam propulsion in one of the very difficult circumstances. And you see, Indian Navy has got a very strong divisional system. If there is a problem, if there is a personal problem or a professional problem, we approach our seniors. We are mentored. It's like a family, you know. We have got a senior sailor above a junior sailor, and then there is a divisional officer, and then above whom there is one more senior officer. So there is an entire family set up within the ships. So and this divisional system has been there throughout. This is a bedrock of the Indian Navy. So as a junior sailor, for him to make it to the Navy team, and for even before that, first to spot that he is good in cricket, and to motivate him,
Then nurture him.
then give him that kind of coaching to nurture him. This is a step-by-step process. This cannot happen automatically. So you see the strong divisional system. Can you see it? Like you obviously a senior sailor, he would have approached a senior sailor that, you know, I'm good in cricket. So he would have seen him as perform. Then he would have told to his
Referred him
to the officer,
further.
the concerned senior officer, and they would have mentored him, groomed him, taken him to the services coach or the naval cricket coach. So this entire system, and then even after that, he has been in the Western Naval Command during we are talking about 1940s, okay, 1950s, early 50s. So there they have got state-of-art facilities for cricket coaching. Currently, the naval cricket team trains in Visakhapatnam. So those days, I think 5 years back, it has got shifted there. So previously, it was used to be in Mumbai. So he was given best of the facilities there. Then which molded. See, remember one thing I forgot to mention, that before he joined Navy, Beg Saab used to play only school cricket. He studied in Alia school. There were only actually 3 schools that time in Hyderabad which played professional cricket. One was Alia school, one was All Saints school, and there was one more school, I think Hyderabad Public School, if I am not wrong. I'm not sure about that, but there were only 3 schools which actually played professional cricket. He was in one of those schools, Alia school, and he was a school captain. That was the only cricket. He played probably club cricket at the
That was
best.
like a hobby.
Yes, he was just getting groomed. But then, so essentially, so immediately he joined the Navy in 1957. So the most part of this actually professional training has actually happened within the Navy. And then once you become a cricketer, he used to play for services team. Again, Navy has spotted that coach in him, you know, to actually see that subtle point that he's actually good in coaching. He was sent back to that National School of Sports, which was newly, I think, established in 60s. So where he got trained as a professional coach. So the entire professional training of the Indian Navy, which actually built that strong character and emotional intelligence required for any person to prosper, that was actually built by the Navy. The strong divisional system within the Navy that has transformed him to actually spot the genius in him as a cricketer, and then the coaching facilities that were given to him to groom into a cricketer, and then to evolve him into a coach. The entire actually credit goes to the Indian Navy. Imagine what has Indian Navy done actually by making a coach out of Beg Sahib. It has literally given so many cricketers to India. So that is the kind of contribution that Navy has given.
That brings me to my next question actually. Along with Indian Navy, I want to ask for all the armed forces, what is this ecosystem and how does it work where our armed forces constantly keep motivating its soldiers to take part in sports and athletics, and we have seen in Olympics as well, we have seen in cricket as well. So just give a brief about this ecosystem to our viewers, so that anybody who wants to play sports or want to join armed forces as well, they can understand it and get motivated by it.
Yes, so it's a very good question. All the armed forces, the Indian Army, Indian Navy and the Indian Air Force have got a very strong ecosystem for development of sports. Not only cricket, every sport, be it boxing, be it martial arts, be it track and field athletics, cricket, hockey. You see, we have got some of the best facilities, training facilities anywhere in India, and we have got one of the best accomplished coaches within our armed forces, training our personnel to participate at the highest level. Starting from Milkha Singh ji, who was in the Indian Army, that is, it is the Indian Army who has actually groomed him to go on to become a international level, runner, an athlete. Similarly, you have got Neeraj Chopra ji, who is doing wonders in javelin.
I think Rajyavardhan Rathore ji was also.
Lieutenant Colonel Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore, who won the silver in the Olympics. We have got hundreds of Dinko Singh, who was a boxing champion. He was from the Navy. So there are lots of examples around us in the armed forces, all three armed forces. We have got a very, very strong ecosystem which actually is suitable for nurturing a sportsman. It's not only sports coaching that is there, but even the professional coaching itself builds you a sufficient character physically and mentally to be strong enough to participate at that kind of level. Because see, armed forces are training you to take pressure in situations of war, in situations of combat.
Compete.
Composure, to focus, to compete, and never to give up, obviously. These are the traits that are required in the sports arena also. You need to be a fighter, and then you need to be a fighter, you need to be focused. You need to know when to come down, when to go up, when to perform well, and also teaches you how to be consistent with your performance. So our setup, armed forces have got a very, very strong setup, and you have got excellent infrastructure for sports activities and sports at a very professional and at international level. So anyone who is, and we have got lot of our personnel in all the tri-services who are actually coming from the sports background. They are actually already playing a particular sport at certain level. It is just carried forward. So then it's a very strong encouragement given within the armed forces to actually take off from where they left. So on the civil side, if you have participated up to the state level, it is recognized, and then you are given the sufficient coaching for you to take to the next level. So that's how it is.
So how is it structured? Does all the battalions, or I would say all the soldiers, continuously keep competing in different sports, and then the best ones automatically gets filtering out and reaching the top?
Yes.
Is it like that, or there are some dedicated people who just play sports?
No, we have a very organized setup. We have a very organized setup for the Navy. For example, in the Navy, we have got regular command level sports events. So Indian Navy has got a lot of 3 commands. So and then there is a tri-services command. So there is a command level sports events that happens where people, where officers and sailors, they the talents are recognized there, and then they are groomed from there. That is where you picked up. Similarly, in the army, you have got battalion level sports, which brigade level sports are there, where you are. That's how, in the movie, in the Milkha Singh, he that is where he participates in one of the events within the army, where he is picked up. So we have
Pan Singh Tomar, I think.
even in, yes. So we have a very strong systematic setup where we have got events at every level, where the talent is spotted, and then they are groomed after that, and then they are given specialized training. They are given excuse from the regular duties. They have given a separate ration. They are given enough physical exercise. They have got a separate physical regime. They have been trained they are trained by some of the best coaches. So we have a proper ecosystem for this.
So Mr. Beg must have been a very high source of inspiration, the way he, I would say, cut through the ranks and reached the division team, services team. When in fact before independence, what we used to see, like you have mentioned Lagan, that mostly only the officers used to play in the sports, in the service sports. But that changed with Indian independence, and Mr. Beg was one of the very initial person who reached, cut through the ranks and reached the team. So he must have been a very high source of inspiration, I believe, for all the
absolutely, because
soldiers
being
in
I'm saying he is a young sailor who was joined at the age of 16 or 17 years. So to make it for the naval cricket team and then the services team at such young age is absolutely a source of inspiration. I'm sure the junior sailors and the senior sailors around that time would have been really inspired by such a because, and I somehow get although I've not verified this fact, but I think he is one of the first naval veterans, naval personnel who has actually played cricket at services level. I think so, because when I saw the composition of team that time, it was primarily constituted Army and the Air Force. So although I have not verified, I cannot say that for certainty, but 57 it looks like.
So we have talked so much about Beg sir, but we have still not talked about what he used to do in cricket. What was his primary function? So I would want you to highlight that. And he used to ball like some other player, and he was more like a namesake to that player as well. So I would like.
Beg Saab played with cricketing legends like Vijay Manjrekar, Polly Umrigar, Mansoor Ali Khan, Sir Mansoor Ali Khan Patodi. They're all big names during those times. He used to play with them, alongside them. So Beg Saab was a spinner, was a spin bowler. And I remember once Beg Saab was telling me, Patodi Saab used to address Beg Saab as, Captain Saab kaise ho? Because there was one match where Beg Saab bowled Patodi, he got him out. So, and Patodi Saab used to really respect Beg Saab because the ball at which we got out was actually unplayable. And there are many cricketers. The thing is that people who saw Beg Saab play were very less. There hardly anyone left. So there was one Maheshwar Singh ji, who is a very old veteran cricketer, who is there in Hyderabad. So he gave insights into how talented Beg Saab was. The kind of flight that he used to give was a treat to watch. In fact, there's an interview by P.R. Mansingh Saab, who was the manager of the Indian cricket team of the 1983 cricket team, which won the World Cup. P.R. Mansingh Saab ka interview is also there. So sir was also telling that Beg Saab was a treat to watch. The way elegantly he used to spin the ball, and that is what, there were hardly any people who could give insights into his career as a cricketer. I don't know through this interview if anyone can tell us. We can include as a part of the next version of the book, because that aspect, actually, to be honest, it was not adequately covered in this book.
Right.
It should have been, but thing is that when I was writing this book, remember I started this book in July 23, and Beg Saab's health was deteriorating. So I wanted to finish this book fast and then present him the book. So he passed away on 1st of October 2023. On 30th, 2 days before, me, Prakash, MSK Prasad sir and Hari Mohan sir, the book was finished and we went to Hyderabad. and then presented him the book that day. So that was on a Saturday evening, afternoon. So he read through the book the entire Saturday. Sunday also he read. On that night he passed away while reading the book. So even if I would have delayed, even if all of us delayed even by a day, we would have regretted throughout our lives that we could not present him. But thankfully.
So now moving on to his coaching career, I would say he played for a services team for 10 years, then Ranji, then South Zone. In 70s, it was a tumultuous time for India. India was going through a lot. 71 war, then emergency in 75. In 77, BCCI, you have mentioned, was changing things around, we would say.
Yeah.
They introduced the zonal coach level system and selected 5 special coaches.
Yeah.
And Beg Saab was amongst one of them.
Correct.
So just tell us about how it worked and how it led to the 1983 World Cup victory for India and how it changed the history.
So these facts were some of these aspects which I am about to tell were actually narrated to me by Beg Saab himself. This was, as you brought out, rightly pointed out, this was the time of lot of things were happening in India. On one side we had 1971 victory, thumping victory against our adversaries, and then the other side there was a political situation that was developing in the country. In middle of all this, BCCI, of course, those were the times when Indian cricket also was slowly moving was also finding its feet. So BCCI came up with a scheme where the entire country was divided into number of zones, geographical zones. Each zone had certain grouping of the states. So as I brought out previously, that the north zone was one zone, east zone, west zone, and then south zone. So the south zone in charge of the coach was Beg Saab. This was before this he was in Sports Authority of India. So he retires from the Navy. He joins the Sports Authority of Andhra Pradesh for some time and then moves to the Sports Authority of India. So during this Sports Authority, his stint at Sports Authority, he used to train in Lal Bahadur Stadium in Hyderabad. It is also called Fateh Maidan. Lakshman, Azharuddin, all of them used to go there for training. Thereafter he comes, this stint in South Zone was his deputation to the BCCI. The BCCI calls him from South Zone because he was one of the senior most coaches then. So to represent South Zone. So South Zone constituted Andhra Pradesh, the erstwhile combined Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka and Goa. So these were the 5 states. So I think what he was telling was that those days they used to have regular camps. So each zone had its own camp. So he used to visit each of those states. Senior coaches from there used to bring in the players whom they have spotted talents, and then they used to perform in front of Beg Sir, and he used to select people from there. Around 25 odd people were selected from each zone. Now these 25 from each of these zones are collected. So the national camp used to happen. I think it was in Mumbai, which was headed by Colonel Hemu Adhikari. So all the zonal heads used to come there. They used to congregate there. And all these 25 boys from each of these zone used to come there. They used to be further groomed. That was another filter. So they used to be coached as well as groomed there, and then from then on, cricketers were picked. They used to be trained, further specialized training used to happen. That's the setup that was made. And Beg Sir used to tell that actually this has really helped in grooming and making the Indian team ready for the 1983 World Cup. Famous cricketer, former Indian cricketer Arshad Ayub from Hyderabad, he told us that several of the cricketers who were a part of the World Cup winning team at some point of time in their careers used to went on to train under Beg Sahab also. It's not as if Beg Sir has totally trained them from the beginning, but during these zonal coaches, zonal trainings and the national camps, Beg Sahab was there. So I've listed all these names in the book also, and several of these cricketers who are now very senior veteran cricketers really respect Beg Sahab even till date. After even if you look at Sanjay Manjrekar, his tweet after Beg Sahab's demise, it will tell one of the photos, Manjrekar says photo where he was standing as a kid, where Beg Sahab was coaching him. So such cricketers fondly recollect the kind of influence Beg Saab had on these people. Again, all of them has this common thing to say, that the way he used to make the kid feels comfortable, he eases you into the game. He never used to make you feel insecure or get overwhelmed with the game. He used to make sure that you enjoyed the game. That is the mantra he followed throughout his career, even till the last day. And the important aspect is, it's not only the physical aspect of coaching. Once the technical training is done, he used to spend a lot of time talking to people. There used to be counseling sessions. Nothing is those old Gurukul system, where the guru used to sit and the disciples used to be around him. It is the same way. Beg Saab सेंटर में बैठते थे, सारे उनके बच्चे उनके अराउंड बैठते थे.
You have written in book and somewhere as well that his life mission seemed to be passing on the knowledge that he had.
Absolutely. So whatever knowledge he had, he never used to hold it back. He gives you more.
Yes.
He gives it freely. That is the kind of passion he used, and that is when so many of these people, cricketers, have told me that those sessions, those where he used to talk to kids and all, then those sessions are there because he used to teach kids how to think like a cricketer, how to think like a good person, what is a value system that you need to imbibe. It's not just about going and playing good cricket, it is about thinking in the right way also. So that's how it is.
So it's indeed mesmerizing how many lives he touched. Next, I want to come to the Maldives chapter. He was sent to Maldives as well to train Maldives cricketing team. And apart from the coaching part, something again very, I would say, what should I call it? Something very special, political happened in Maldives at that time, and some rebel group took over the Maldives, and India sent a Indian Navy under Operation Cactus to rescue Maldives. This was something that I was not aware of. I hadn't heard before reading this book. So while telling about his Maldives chapter, I want you to also focus a little bit on Operation Cactus and what Indian Navy did in that operation and what was it all about.
Yeah. So after Beg Saab's stint with BCCI, that is after 1977 till 1987.
Right. This was in 1988.
Yeah, it was after that. So he joins as South Zone coach. India wins its first World Cup in 1983, and then after that he spends another 4 years till 1987 as a South Zone coach. Thereafter, since he was a senior most coach then, the BCCI sends him through the Ministry of External Affairs. It's a diplomatic mission to Maldives. Even now I think BCCI sends our coaches, senior coaches and cricketers to other countries to develop cricket there.
Because the 2003 Kenya was also under this.
Oh, is it?
I'm not sure, but something of.
Yeah, there is that thing, because there are several friendly countries who don't have sufficient
Indian coach
infrastructure.
was
Yes.
teaching Kenya and they reached semi-final
Right.
in that
Yes.
2003
Even
World
Afghanistan cricket team,
Cup. Right.
who has actually done very well in the last World Cup, they were trained very much in India. In fact, I think they were training in Noida for quite some time. There's a cricket stadium there. So Indian BCCI and Government of India is the one who groomed them actually.
Noida and Dharamshala as well, if I remember correctly.
Is it Dharamshala? Haan, correct.
Some, because
Yeah, Dharamshala, yes, true.
they
So
were training in Dharamshala as well.
and you see how good a cricket team they have become now.
Yes.
So similarly, Government of India that time they have sent Beg Saab to Maldives to actually develop cricket in their country. And in fact, Beg Saab was telling that he has actually made a national team there. Then they went to Sri Lanka, they went to Sharjah. There are several matches involving various countries. So he has actually built an entire cricketing ecosystem in that country. As you rightly pointed out, yes, there was also this was all happening in middle of again a political situation that was emerging there. There was a military coup in that, where the government was, there was an attempt to oust the government, wherein the Indian Armed Forces, Indian Army, Indian Navy and the Indian Air Force were deployed. Two of our warships, INS Godavari and INS Betwa, were involved in that operation. It was a very successful operation, and this says that how Indian Navy and the Indian government, right from that point of time, has considered Maldives as one of our close partners, and also has been, even now Indian Navy conducts lot of its renders lot of help to friendly foreign countries in the Indian Ocean region. That's how we have been. Whoever is in need, India gives wholeheartedly, no matter how they are to us. So Beg Sahib was so during the reason I brought out that was Beg Sahib was there during that. His tenure coincided with that incident. So that is his role. He was not a part of the operation. So
but it's indeed interesting that how he was there when
during
this all happened.
somehow it turned out like that.
So he must have seen it.
Yeah, he recollects that.
Yes.
And then in the book also there is a appreciation letter by the Home Minister then.
Right.
Yes, so he talks about that letter brings out the services that Mr. Amar Beg has given to Maldives.
And it's all, full of all good words.
It's all of good words, and they are very thankful about that.
So now I'll come to the conclusion of this talk. Before that, I want you to share one advice that Beg sir gave you. You at the end of his philosophy, you asked him in the at the end of the chapter where you talk about his philosophy. I think you asked what is the right age for a kid to play cricket or to start playing cricket. But he also tells something very different, that if somebody is not interested, young age is also the right time to take them out of it.
Yes.
So this is something that you found very insightful. I believe others would also understand a lot from it. So please share this, and this would be the conclusive question for our interview.
So this is a very important part of the book which parents should refer to, because I, as a parent myself, that if my son or my daughter, if they want to play cricket, the first thing that comes to your mind is, one is the age, but whom do I send? There are a lot of coaching centers nowadays. The way it is in the academic side, it is also in the cricketing side. It's very important, according to Beg sir, that it's very important, even before you send him to the coaching center, are you forcing the kid into cricket, or for that matter any career, or is he genuinely interested? That is very important. You cannot force your dreams onto your kids. There was one incident which I've actually taken it from Harimohan sir's blogs, wherein it was in the one of the coaching centers where Beg Sahib was training, where one of the father of one of the boys, he used to constantly monitor him, and he used to come to the coaching classes also. He used to be there throughout when the coaching was happening. But when the boy didn't perform well, or he didn't time the ball well, or he didn't play a shot well, there were times he used to criticize him, he used to shout at him in front of the coach. One time he slapped him also. So Beg Sahib actually warned that particular parent that you cannot be doing this. Firstly, you should not be, I am the one who is in charge of this place. I know how to handle a kid. But then this is not the way to handle the kid, because you are breaking him. Forget about becoming a cricketer. You are doing a lot of damage to the kid as a person. So that is absolutely not correct. And Beg sir always used to insist, everyone need not play cricket. He could have been good in something else. So he used to be very clear about it. He was more of a realist. And then that is the first part of it. Second part of it, which Beg sir insisted, was that, as I again brought out, that character building, that imbibing of the value system, the right way to approach a game. While it is important to become a cricketer, Beg sir always stressed on the fact that it is not actually becoming a cricketer that is important. It is the process of becoming one. It is the more important thing. That is the one that makes you a cricketer. You might have a huge talent, but then if you need to go through that mill. You need to go through those struggles. You need to go through those ups and downs. You need to have that emotional turmoils, those upsets, good and bad, both. you need to have that kind of limelight. At the same time, the next match you may fail, but will you come back the same next day with the same enthusiasm to bowl that ball in that hot summer season? That is the one, that is the kind of mindset he's trying to install. So if you don't have that kind of mindset, just with the talent you might reach, maybe you'll play for your country also, but will you be able to be there for some time? Will you be able to become a legend? Will you be able to play the cricket like Virat Kohli and Tendulkar and Lakshman, all these played people, and Rahul Dravid played for so many years? It requires something more than cricket actually. That is exactly what Beg Saab used to install. It is that mental aspect of it combined with physical aspect which is stressed on. So another important thing is he was very, he also had this very strong opinion that that number of coaching centers have gone up. That needs to be, because then whom do you approach? Where is the proper coaching? This thing, maybe the cricket associations themselves should get involved. This is one of the things that I wanted to bring out. I am not an expert in cricket. It is for the professionals to take a call.
He suggested a curriculum even for the coaches as well.
Yes, he suggested. I think it is there now.
Yes, it is.
It is there now. It's a proper curriculum is there. So there are various levels of coaching. The National Cricket Academy, in fact, VVS Lakshman is the current director of that. So they have a proper curriculum laid down. So that is it. So
his advices have been paid heed to.
Yes.
Thank you, Commander Hemant. It has been a wonderful session. We were discussing the book, The Unsung Coach of Indian Cricket. I hope you all enjoyed this session. Thank you very much.